Okay, I thought I'd take you through the PVA bag rig that I'm using just at the moment. So it's basically made from £18 blend. So this is the coated hook length. Despite the fact that it's coated, it's actually still pretty supple. Does give a little bit of kickback to it, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, the lake I'm fishing at the moment is has actually got quite a few large roach and rudd in it, so they do sometimes pick up the bait ahead of the tench and the carp. So having that ability to reset, it's actually quite a good thing for me. So I take roughly around about 8 inches of this, just trim that off, and then I usually strip off sort of a couple of inches or so of the coating from the end. Now this is just to make the hair, which we do really quite simply by making a loop and then just tying a knot in, really. Sometimes if you've got fingers that don't always want to work like mine, you can just pull that through with a aid of a tool. That should just make a nice loop at the end. Then what you want to do is you want to take your chosen bait. So in this instance, I'm just using a pink fake sweet corn and one of the bottom baits. Now these ones are actually mainline essential cell. I tend to glug mine in anything really. Hydro nuts sometimes from British Aqua Feeds, or in this instance it's actually covered in a little bit of powdered pellet and some tuna oil from leftover tuna from a sandwich actually. Thread that on. That just gives you the general length of the hair that you may need. There you go, nothing more than that. Next, pick up a Conv number 6 and you thread the end of this through the eye, through the back, and then just fill that down. Now I like to go for a bit of separation. Now because there are a lot of roach and rudd in there, I find just a slightly longer hair stops them getting hooked so often, so they'll pick up usually the sweet corn at the end. Don't always pick up the hook, and believe it or not, I am catching roach and rudd on a size 6 hook. It's crazy, I know. Trap that in place, and then I usually give 7 turns down, and then back up, and then back through the eye of that hook, which creates a nice, relatively short link like that. In the end, I just take a loop again, fold it over, and again just a handy baiting tool just to pull that through to create a nice little loop. And really it's as easy as that. So nice and short, doesn't need to be long, works perfectly fine sort of at that length. You can have it slightly longer if you want to, but I'm using small bags, so I don't usually like to have too much weight. Now what I do like to do on here is just add a little bit of putty to it. I find it just holds it down in case it does get picked up, and it also just aids that hook pulling round. This stuff is brilliant, sticks like crazy to this blend hook length as well, so you don't need to put sinkers or any of that in there, and this will sit on there perfectly fine as well with a bag. Don't need to worry about it. Next we take our lead. Now I get rid of these inserts, don't like them at all. What I want really is just a nice sort of rubber end to this, and then I take a piece of splice leader, pop that through just like so, and on the end I've got a quick link swivel, which I think you can just about see, and then we attach hook length to that just by slipping it on like so. And then by taking that hard sort of insert from here, I can just pull that in here. Now, I'm not pulling hugely tight, and the reason that I take the insert out is because essentially what I want the carp to do, or the tench, is not have too much room. I want them picking that lead up, as soon as they get that up into their mouth, I want the weight of that lead being felt. The good thing about this is it actually comes out very, very easily. So as soon as that fish picks up the bait, lifts its head up, shakes it, that's loose, becomes essentially a running rig, and that there is what's doing all the damage for me. Really simple. Always match my hook baits with what I'm feeding loose as well, and I've been feeding that over a good sort of spread of bait, sort of mixture of pellet and boiling. Easy rig, definitely doing the D's at the moment.